To trademark or to not trademark? Better yet, when is the right time to trademark your logo or design? This is the million-dollar question asked by every single business owner. So if you're thinking it, a million other people are thinking it as well. And we are going to lay out the framework right in this video. Before we get into the particulars, this is the legal code, and on this channel we discuss a wide range of legal topics, whether that's for your small business or legal lessons we learn in the media or legal faux pas on a Netflix series. We discuss it here and we make it fun and enjoyable, but you also find a lot of value as well. If you find value in that sort of thing, please don't forget to like and subscribe. As well as if you would like some legal coaching and you would like the opportunity to work with me one-on-one to troubleshoot some areas or something that you're struggling with your business, there's a link in the description box. We'll have an hour-long consultation and I will let you know all the secrets, develop a strategy for you, next steps, what to avoid, what your blind spots are in your business and what you need to look out for. And I promise you, you'll find a lot of value and benefit with that consultation so that you're not overwhelmed as you make the next steps, because it could be lonely out there when you're starting a new business. You don't necessarily know what to do next. So you will leave feeling confident and assured. I promise you that. Again, there's a link in the description box. Also, exciting news, I have merch for the first time ever. For about 2 years, someone has been encouraging me to get merchandise and I finally have it. So that will also be included below. Now, trademarking. When a new business gets started, the owner is often just ready to trademark as soon as possible. And a business will want to start the trademark application as soon as their LLC or their corporation paperwork is filed. And that's a really good scenario to be in, because by filing for a trademark prior to your official launch of putting your product or service out there, you can be assured that your name is protected and you could then begin commercial sales knowing that there's no conflicting mark or competing mark. However, perhaps you filed the registration for your LLC, but you're still tweaking your product or service and you're not necessarily ready to put your product or service out into the world. Well, the Trademark Office offers two options for you. So in this video, we will lay out the framework for when is the appropriate time for you to register your business, register your product. Whether it should be when you're ready to go on the shelves or wait a little bit to an official launch day to the marketplace, we will figure it out in this video. Again, the Trademark Office offers businesses two options depending on where you are in the creative process or in the business formation process. One option is intent to use, or and alternatively, the second option is full mark trademark registration. Again, while it's advisable and ideal to apply for the trademark as soon as possible, that might not be your situation. Having a trademark implies that your product or service is market ready and the trademark name is being used in interstate commerce, or you're providing your product or service across state lines. It's out there into the public domain. So what happens when you're not quite ready for the market yet? Rest assured. In this case, the Trademark Office lets you file an intent to use trademark application, which is exactly as it sounds. You're not ready. You plan on using the mark in the near future. You plan on using the name in the near future and in commerce, but you have not gotten around to being able to put your product or your service out there into the public. So once the Trademark Office approves your intent to use application, you must start using the name in commerce within 6 months. So this gets you time to mobilize your business and get your ducks in a row so that you can start offering your product and service to the public, to the world. And I must warn you, 6 months flies by very quickly. So in that 6 months, you must begin to put your service or your product out there into the world so that your application can get approved for registration. Once you're up and running and you actually have your service or your product out there, then you will need to provide proof, legitimate proof of your mark being out into the world. And the trademark office is very flexible as to what proof could be, because this is a digital world, so they're very flexible with that. You can provide websites, screenshots, your actual website that you're using to sell or provide your product or service, invoice, audio files, digital clips, whatever it may be, to show proof of commerce. The main advantage of filing an intent to use application is that your filing date will serve as the date of the first use. So your date supersedes anyone else's date if they plan on trying to use a mark that's similar to yours. Even if your product or service isn't on the marketplace yet, you have priority. The first date is very important and can be used down the road in the event there's a conflict in mark by someone else claiming that their mark came first. You already have a first date from when you filed your application. If you're still not ready in 6 months after approval, you can of course file for an extension. The trademark office is very flexible. You're allowed up to 4 additional 6-month extensions. So essentially you get about 2 years to get your product or service out there. Again, this is very generous timeline, but it goes by very quickly. For each extension, of course, you will need to provide good cause or proof as to why you have not been using this name, because the trademark office doesn't want you sitting on a name that you don't intend on using and then taking the opportunity away from another company that is ready to go. So you need to provide a reason as to why you're not delivering your product or service. If you fail to use the name and don't get your product or service out there in the time that the trademark office has granted, guess what happens there? The trademark office will deem your application abandoned and will cancel your application altogether, which can be devastating for a business. This means you'll need to start the application all over again, the process all over again, including paying for a whole new application and application fees a second time. So if you apply for an intent to use application, you want to hunker down and make sure you meet that deadline. Otherwise, you will lose out on application fees and all the work you put into trying to get your product and service out there. I want to stress, your business brand is your livelihood. So do all that you can to protect yours by applying for the trademark protection and following through, being thorough and making sure you're doing your due diligence. Filing your application early also ensures that you're not putting yourself at significant legal risk by using someone else's name, in addition to being the most effective way to protect your brand and name. So you have all of that. You got that you can register your trademark prior to your product or service being out there in the public. Next, you also may be asking, well, do I register my trademark before or after I create my business LLC or corporation? Here is the little golden nugget that you've been combing the internet to know. You can absolutely register your trademark before you form your LLC, and earlier in the business, before you even have a business, you could register a trademark. There's no rule that prevents it, but the answer is two-pronged. First, at the inception of your business, you want to do a trademark search to see if there's any business out there with the same trademark. All right? Once you do that, you also want to do an LLC search if you plan to use the same trademark name as for your business name. So you want to do a two-pronged search and make sure you satisfy that there's no conflicting mark for the trademark and no conflicting mark for the LLC. So again, you do an LLC business name search and you do a trademark search to make sure you're not calling your business by the name of a business that is already in use, and making sure your business name is not that of a trademark that is already in use. Also, a caveat to this, something that often gets a lot of business owners confused, is that they think that once they have a business name or an LLC, they have trademark by proxy, or that because they formed an LLC with that name, that business formation defaults to giving them trademark protection. But having a business name does not give you any trademark protection. It's actually totally separate. It's a whole different criteria. But if the LLC name is what you're going to use as your trademark, if that's going to be the trademark as well, then you would need to do at least the same preliminary trademark clearance before you commit to a specific LLC name. So you see, it's two-pronged. At the time you are creating your trademark, you want to make sure you have clearance to use the trademark name as well as the LLC or corporation name. Most businesses want to call their corporation the same as their trademark. So just to make sure you know that. Of course, you could have different trademarks underneath the business name, but most businesses, when they begin, want to call their trademark the same as their business name. By doing the preliminary research to register your trademark, you can know if anyone else out there is using the same name you wish to use in your business or as a in a trademark. Once you do this search and no one is using it, you can incorporate the entity and then file your intent to use application for the company name to cover the goods and services you intend to sell under this new entity. Following these steps, again, I'll break it down. Do the preliminary search to see if it's in use in trademark or if it's another business name. If that checks out, then you want to register your entity, your corporation or your LLC. 3, then register your trademark. And this is in the short timeline that you would like to do this. By following these steps, you can feel assured and be legally protected that there is no conflicting or competing mark and you're not stepping on the toes or infringing on another business. Also, doing this preliminary search also works to make sure your trademark is registered under your business name and not you as an individual. When you're filling out the application, the trademark office will ask you who is the owner of the trademark. You have the option to put yourself as an individual, or you can put your business entity. If a business entity exists, best practices is to use the corporation or the LLC as the owner of the trademark. That should be the name that you put, not you as an individual. This is because technically it's the business offering the good or service and not you as the individual. Makes sense, right? If you've registered the trademark before you have created your LLC, then you as an individual will own the trademark because the entity did not exist at the time of the trademark registration. I'll do a separate video about who owns the trademark and what the significance of this is, but just so you know, as a preliminary step, that the business should be the owner of the trademark. So again, to reiterate, applying early on in the intent to use basis means you don't necessarily have to have your product out there, your service out there into the public. And you don't risk having another business register a similar mark while you're busy getting everything mobilized and getting everything off the ground. So that is the benefit of an intent to use application. Okay, we're gonna switch gears. Say you are a business veteran. Your business has been up and running for the last 3-4 years and you never got around to registering your trademark. You can of course still do a registration. You would do trademark search and apply for the expanded trademark registration. You have already provided your business and service to the world. You can provide proof, and so you already meet the use in commerce threshold that the trademark office looks for. But when it comes to protecting your trademark, the sooner you begin to think about protection, the better, because then you avoid another company coming along after you've done all of this work claiming that their mark was out there first. And you don't have to worry about them coming along and taking the name that you wish to use, even though you have been in commerce. These steps are key because you do not want to spend a bunch of money designing a logo, creating a website, creating a brand identity for a logo that is already in use for another company. And then that company will be getting all of your traffic. And that's why this step is critical. Your business name is vital to your business. So you want to do things the right way and you want to do due diligence. It's how others will identify you. It's part of your branding and it's how others view your business and associate your goods and services. So your business name is so valuable and important, and it's really, really important that you figure this out in the beginning stages of your business. So do your due diligence, because you don't want to be in a tug of war with another business that has a conflicting mark with your mark. And that is it. Hopefully the information has been helpful. If you have any questions, please don't forget to drop that in the comment section. Again, if you would like the opportunity to work with me and set up a consultation, the link is in the description box. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.